Africa. Welcome to another exciting episode of the CGC Show on AETV. AETV is the voice of higher education in Africa, and of course the CGC Show is your trusted pathway to your dreams. We are coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana, and I am your host, Adjoa Omie. Do follow us on our social media handles at AETV_African Universities on Twitter, Association of African Universities on Facebook and YouTube, and at AETV Official on Instagram. Today we will be discussing photojournalism. Yes, photography in journalism. My guest is ready and I am ready, but I'll introduce him after the break. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
One of the oldest universities in Sudan is the University of Khartoum. It is endowed with a lot of wildlife, and it comes as no surprise that the university has a zoo and a flourishing school farm. The zoo houses different types of reptiles, mammals and birds such as different breeds of snakes, monkeys, tortoises, crocodiles and many more. The university farms located at different parts of Sudan boast of exotic plants and animals. The agronomy and the horticultural department have different varieties of plants and flowers, as well as well-equipped laboratories. On the farm are also cattle that supplies the dairy and the meat needs of the university and its communities, as well as other animals such as camels and donkeys. The university zoo and the farms are a must visit for everyone visiting the University of Khartoum.
Welcome back. If you just tuned in, you are watching the CGC Show on AETV. And today, to help me do the discussion, I have here with me Knii Adjei Mensahfio, who is a photographer and a journalist. He prefers to be called a photojournalist because he uses photography to report stories. Welcome on the show, Knii Adjei Mensahfio.
Thank you very much.
It's great seeing you on the show.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm very delighted to be on your show today.
Thank you so much. How's work?
Work is good. It's been tough, but you can't complain.
Definitely.
It's what our heart is in, so work is good.
Tell me, when we say photojournalism, what is it about?
All right, so photojournalism has quite a lot of meanings. Okay, but if we should divide the words into two, photography and journalism. So photography is telling stories through pictures, and journalism is reporting on issues happening. So you can see that photojournalism is reporting on issues or events in our societies through pictures. Simply put, yeah.
Wow. And so that is what you've been doing. For how long have you been doing that?
I've been doing mainstream photography for close to 7 years.
Wow.
But photojournalism, this is my 3rd year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you see your works out there? Do you see the impact of your works?
Yeah, I do see my works on people's statuses. I see them on billboards, I see them on newspapers, and it feels good. You know, you have the confidence and this feeling that you are doing something right out there.
Why did you choose to do journalism through photography? I mean, we have a lot of people doing other things in photography. Why did you choose to do journalism?
Okay, so growing up, my dad exposed me to a lot of reading.
Okay.
He gave me a lot of newspapers to read. So growing up, I had this penchant for writing, and I developed the art of writing. So before I even went to the university, I was writing quite a lot of stuff, poems and articles here and there. So after senior high school, I happened to meet a gentleman who owned a photo studio at the Khartoum photo store, where I started my photography journey. So in my 4th year, I decided to go to school. Then I went to GIJ because I knew I was a good writer, and I've now gotten to a certain level in my photography. So I wanted to merge the two. I wanted to write and attach pictures to what I write. So I went to GIJ to get the practical training in journalism. And that's how come I found myself in photojournalism.
Wow, that's really great. You know, a lot of people are going into photography lately. I don't know whether it's because we all want to have pictures of ourselves and all of that, but I don't get it. What do you think is attracting people into the photography field? and the journalism too?
With photography, there may be quite a lot of reasons for people, you know, but from my end, the little I can say, looking at the people I've seen or the people I've met, I can say maybe it's the exposure that comes with the job. You know, through photography, you go to a lot of places, you meet a lot of big people that on a very regular day, you may not have the opportunity to meet them. So photography gives you that platform to be on the same position, on the same grounds with these people. And for me, I think that could be the driving force, you know, behind people's intentions to go into photography. And for photojournalism to, well, for me personally, like I said earlier, it's something that I developed from childhood. And yeah, I didn't mention, my dad was a photographer.
Okay.
Yeah, so at a very tender age, I was exposed to the camera. Yeah, so after about some years, the camera got spoiled. Dad had no money to buy a new camera. So I never thought I would be a photographer. So 2013, about 17, 18 years later, when I found myself at photo store in Accra, and I realized that I had done photography some time ago and I could actually build on it. Yeah, so photojournalism for me was because I could write and I could also take pictures. But for others, I can't really tell.
But how do you do your work?
Okay, for now, I'm working for a media entity, Daily Guide newspaper. So we have assignments, we have editors giving us assignments. So each morning, or maybe before you close, the editor is going to call you and tell you, if you are going here today or tomorrow, at this day, at this time, you get the contact number of the person you're going to meet or the media liaison. So that's how it happens. But then also there are some events that you don't need any contact person. You may be out there, you may be somewhere, then your editor will call you. Something is happening here. We need photos, we need a story. You have to stop whatever you are doing and drive all the way down there to get the picture. So the job is quite unpredictable, but it's tough. But then this is what our hearts are in, so we are doing it to our best.
Definitely you have some ethics you stick to in photojournalism. Share some of them with us.
Okay, so ethics in photojournalism, I would say, are not far too different from ethics in mainstream journalism.
Okay.
Yes, so the ethics of journalism are you have to be truthful, you have to be loyal, you have to be time-bound and stuff. Same thing happens to photojournalism. Just that in photojournalism, you have to be a bit more careful. Okay, sometimes when stuff are happening to people, they wouldn't want cameras all over them.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes something may be happening to somebody, and then you can stand with your camera, want you to take a picture. These are issues that you have to be tactful with, you have to be wise, you know, so you know how to go about it. You don't just go with your camera and say, hey, I'm a photojournalist, I'm shooting for a newspaper, so let me shoot. No. That's so it's a bit of a challenge, but you just have to know how best to go about situations as and when you meet them.
Speaking on this challenge, what are some of the challenges you've encountered since you started this journey?
For challenges, here in Ghana, I don't know how that thing came about, but I realized that anytime anybody sees a camera, they want to make some money out of the photographer. I don't know the mindset behind those things. So you go to a place to shoot maybe landscape or the road, cars moving, and you see people coming to you, hey, my friend, what are you doing here? You have to give us something, all those kind of stuff. That's a bit of a challenge. Sometimes, or most times, you don't go to these.
They ask for things from you.
Yeah, you have to settle boys. Of course, who sent you to come and take pictures?
Okay.
So the assumption is that you're going to use the pictures to make money.
Okay.
So you have to pour some libation.
Yeah.
Yes. And most times you don't go on sets, you don't go on scenes with money in your pocket.
Yeah.
If it comes critical, you have to give out something from your own pocket. I said that time, you may not have time for yourself. You may be here, you may decide to, okay, today I have nothing doing, so let me just rest for a while. Before the day ends, your boss will call. If something's happening here, we need you to be there, we need pictures. I remember there was a day I was in the studio, I was in the newsroom, and then around 4:30, I was getting ready to close for the day. Then our chief news editor came. We heard there's an issue between Nigerian and Ghanaian traders at Tiptoe Lane at Circle.
Okay.
We need photos. And I'm like, oh, I thought the day was already over. But that's the requirement of the job. You have to go. So I picked my camera and then went to Circle. Now, getting to Circle and getting the pictures is a different thing altogether. These are people who had been fighting earlier in the day. And then you go and stand there with your camera that want to take pictures. And I learned some of the shops belonging to Nigerian traders had been locked up. So you can't just go and start taking pictures. They may turn their anger on you. You understand? So it was quite a challenge, but I was able to get my pictures and I came back to do my story for the next day's publication.
Have you had an encounter where a picture that you took was miscommunicated?
This issue, it's quite political, but I was part of the media men who were covering a demonstration.
Okay.
And then for one of the political parties in Ghana. So on getting to the Jubilee House, before they got to the Jubilee House, some of the people who were part of the demonstration started attacking a gentleman they supposed or alleged to be part of the national security. And this had happened after the Ayawaso West Wugon violence.
Yeah.
The impasse between NSS, national security personnel, and some people of some political parties. So they presumed the man was, or they alleged that the man was an NSS national security personnel. And then they started beating the press. And I took photos, and then the next day it was on the front page. On the next day, and then people will start reading all sorts of meanings into that. Because it's a political party here and there. But this is what we saw. This is what I also saw, and this is the facts on ground. It's a bit of a challenge. Sometimes you take pictures, you write your stories, and people still try to read different meanings into what the picture or the story is saying. But the facts are in the newspaper.
Wow. This, I'm imagining it is definitely going to be disheartening.
Yeah.
Knowing that you want to put this thing out there, but people are reading it, reading a different meaning into it. It's quite challenging.
The motive for the demonstration was quite different from the attack on the gentleman. But this is news.
Yes.
You have to sell your news.
Of course.
No matter what. So realizing that, and this demonstration there has been a similar demonstration before that one by same group of persons or by the same organization. So go on the second one and seeing something that I believe will sell my paper more. Why not? So I focused more on that, and then the other details of the demonstration were also included somewhere in the story. But people always choose to believe what they want to believe. And that's how it's been.
What do you take into consideration when you are taking shots to report on a story?
So some of the things I consider first is how to make your picture attractive. Not attractive as in beautiful. But how to capture people's attention to want to buy the newspaper. How to present your picture. I say something that everything is beautiful. It depends on how you try to look at it. It depends on how you see it. So in my photography, whatever I see that I want to shoot, or in my photojournalism career, I try as much as possible to present a more intriguing or interesting angle to the scene through my pictures.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Let's go for a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you just tuned in, you are watching the CGC Show on AETV, and we have been discussing photojournalism with my guest here, Knii Adjei Mensahfio. I don't know how to put this, but then can you tell us some areas of expertise when it comes to photojournalism? What are some of the courses that you would recommend people to read? Like you said, you went to GIG. Why did you choose to go to GIG?
Okay, so I went to GIG because it's a premier university. It was the premier communications university in Sub-Sahara.
Okay.
That's what they say. That's what we thought.
Yeah.
GIG,
okay.
You know? And going there, I haven't ever regretted going there. If not for anything, at least the exposure to media houses, to producers, to directors.
Are you freelance or you work solely for media house?
I work currently I'm working for Daily Guide newspaper.
Okay.
So I'm tied to Daily Guide as a media house. Yeah. I don't know what tomorrow holds for me.
Definitely.
But for now, I'm Daily Guide and I'm enjoying my stay there.
Your stay there.
So back to the question.
Yeah.
GIG is I recommend GIG to any other good communications university. But then also anybody that wants to go into photojournalism must build him or herself, develop him or herself. You may not get everything at GIG or at any other school you go to.
Definitely.
You must build yourself. You must relate to people, or you must study people who have been there before, who are already in the industry, for them to guide you here and there. So that's a little I can say to people who may want to go into photojournalism.
But what do you think is pushing people to go into photography basically lately? Because we had photographers, but it looks like a lot of the youth, whenever they get a camera, oh, I'm a photographer, I can take shots, I can edit. What do you think is motivating or pushing them to do photography basically?
I've been trying to dodge this particular answer I'm about to give.
Okay.
You know? But well, let it not be that it came from me, so I'll be very tactical about it.
Okay.
There's this speculation that once a photographer, you have so many women or ladies coming around you.
Yeah.
We do have quite a lot of that most of the time. Somebody sees a lady's picture on your WhatsApp or Instagram account. Hey, Charlie, they get fine, they get girls, and I'm like, these are my clients, the people I'm working for, and I'm posting their pictures because I'm advertising my craft.
Yeah.
So most of these youngsters, I don't know if that's the main reason why they go into photography, but to be a photographer, it's not about the number of cameras you have or the kind of pictures you are taking. One, the skill sets, and two, the experience. Today, I realized that most youngsters go to town, they ship cameras into town, or they buy cameras, they go online, visit YouTube, watch some 1 or 2 videos, tutorials on editing, screen retouch, and they say they're photographers. But when you learn through the hard way, it's better. Because you may find yourself in a situation where, let's assume you go for an event and you've already been told how it's going to be the lighting condition. Then you get there and realize that they had problems with the light. And you have just one source of light. How are you going to manage yourself in such a situation? How are you going to get good pictures? Or the program has been built for an hour, then it goes into 3 hours. Meanwhile, your battery is running down. How do you decide which parts of the event to prioritize from the others? All this comes with experience. All this comes with a skill set, with working with people that have already been there to guide you, But most times we see people, after getting their cameras, they go on YouTube, watch videos, get some logo, and they say they're photographers. And you see them doing shoots most of the time, shooting all these young girls and things, and it affects the business. It affects the business, yes, in the sense that the moment they come into the industry, because they also want to make money, they may take any price that the client will charge. But as a photographer, you have what they need. Yeah. You must determine your price. So that's been some of the few issues that have been confronting some first photographers. But that being said, I think it's a good venture. Yeah.
So what are some of the skills that you would you tell people to develop if they want to be photojournalists?
If you want to be a photojournalist, one, you must know how to write.
Definitely.
Taking pictures alone won't do it. So if I'm to mention 5 skills to develop, I mention you have to write, 1. 2, you have to know how to write. 3, you must learn how to write. It's very important. Because following a reporter to an assignment or to a scene, to come out, and just take pictures and come back. Excuse me to say, you may become useless in the newsroom. Yeah. Because today, media houses are giving their reporters cameras. So if the reporter can develop how to take good pictures in a very short while, they may dump you. So you must know how to write. You must make yourself useful. Yeah. And that was my advantage when I went to Daily Guide. I was contracted there as just a photographer. But on my first assignment, I came back with a story written. And the story was published in the next day's publication. Wow. So ever since then, I believe my bosses knew that this guy has more than just photography. Exactly. Yeah, so to the upcoming photojournalist you must learn how to write. And 2, you must know how to talk to people. Okay. Because an event is happening and then you want photographs. You don't just go there and start taking pictures. You must be able to psych them to make them understand that you are there for them. I remember when the customers of Men's Gold were clamoring for their monies at the office at East Legon. So I was in school when my editor called that if we had customers of Men's Gold are there, clamoring for their monies. I have to leave my lectures and rush to the place. On getting there, I saw so many people, and these are people who were heartbroken, people who were mad with the system, who want their monies. So you can't just go there and grab the camera and put the camera on them. They may fight you. Yeah. So you have to be tactful. So on getting there, I went with an intern. So I told him, my friend, wait, see what we're going to do. We're going to pretend like we are part of the customers. So, and in that situation, everybody will want to talk. So on getting there, I was quiet. Then I saw groups of people talking. And I joined them. They asked, is that what happened? So what happened here? Through that, I was asking all the questions I would have asked them on a regular day. But because I was I made myself part of the customers. I was asking questions and they were feeding me. After this group, I went to the next group. I made sure I went to about 5 to 6 groups. So on returning, I stood outside the gate and took one picture and left. That was how I was able to get my story and my picture for that particular event. Yeah. So in this job, you have to be, after learning how to write, you have to be tactful. You have to be smart. And 3, be proactive. Imagine the events before they happen. Okay. It's very important. Imagine the events or the situation before it happens. So when you're able to do that, that puts you ahead of any challenges that may come up. And it also helps you to position yourself well so you get the shots that you need for your stories. And so these are some of the few skills that I would advise youngsters to develop. Learn how to write. Learn how to write. Learn how to write. These 3, they are very important. And then also, you have to be smart. And 5, you have to be proactive. Okay. That's it for me.
Share with me some of the benefits you're enjoying as a photojournalist.
The benefits, they are quite enormous, but you may not get them as rapidly as you may want. So one of the benefits is the exposure. Okay. The people you meet. People see, sometimes when I go on scenes, to cover assignments or cover events, I do a little bit of this WhatsApp video. People are like, hey, Charlie, you're a big man, you get money, because they see you at this ministry, they see you in Parliament House, they see you at Jubilee, so they assume that you're a man, but it's just the exposure, then the networking. Sometimes you may go for an event or to cover an assignment and you meet people, they may say, we need one picture for something. Through that, you network, you understand? And then also, it gives you the platform to learn more. Because through your pictures, you're able to learn more about people's ideas, their perspectives on issues. Sometimes you want to take a picture, but they tell you no. But you need to know why they are telling you no. So you have to go there calmly and ask them what's wrong, So through all these circumstances, you're able to learn about people's perspectives to issues, how they see issues and how they understand issues that affect society. So the benefits here, these are a few.
I can tell you are really enjoying.
I will go do
Thank you so much for coming on the show
to
educate us. And of course, thank you too for tuning in. The show is proudly brought to you by the Association of African Universities And do follow our social media handles at AAUTV_African Universities on Twitter, Association of African Universities on Facebook and YouTube, and at AAUTV Official on Instagram. If you have any questions, comments, whatever it is, you can leave them in the comments box, or you can send them via WhatsApp on +233 50123 8468, and you have them attended to. Don't forget to tune in same time next week. My name is Adjoa Omie. Enjoy the rest of our programs.